Up everybody, Mr. Bald back at it with another video for you. So I've had this Pyle amp for a little over 3 weeks, so I'm about to finally do a review for you. And I've had these speakers for about the same length of time with this Klipsch sub. So I'll get into the specs on everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this for a little while. I'm going to come up close to it, show you the back of it, show you the configuration I have set up, tell you what I love about it, what I don't like so much about it. I'm going to play some audio, bass up, bass down, benefits of having, an amplifier for speakers like this. And we'll talk about the speakers a little bit. So let's get right into it. So for one, I picked this up because it's a lot cheaper. Well, it's cheaper than most of the high-end receivers out there. And this is an amplifier. Pretty much the same thing. I'm not going to get into all the differences and all the different specs. But at the end of the day, this bad boy here actually has more features than some of those high-end receivers. This is technically an amplifier. But again, same thing. You just can't play video out of it. This is a 6-channel, 750 watt amplifier. We'll get into the details here in a minute. On the back, you have all your different spots where you can put in the speakers. You got the sub connection, the RCA, all that good stuff. And each channel is 125 watts. So what I love about this, for one, it's an amplifier that has volume for your treble, volume for your bass, music, all that good stuff. It does come with a controller. And I love the fact that you could turn each channel up and down. So, if you want the left speaker, how I have it hooked up is I have the left speaker hooked up to channel A, the right hooked up to channel B. So let's say I'm sitting right there, but my son, 2-year-old, sitting right here, could turn his speaker down a bit and turn mine up. So I do like that feature. You can put both speakers on channel A, but what I found out is since each channel is 125 watts, when you start to crank this up, it sounds staticky with both speakers, unfortunately. So these are 340 watts of peak max for each speaker, 85 running watts for each speaker. So yeah, once you start to crank it up, it just doesn't sound right. So I don't like that. Also, whenever you hook up both speakers to one side, it's only playing through technically one side of the speaker. Both will play, but it's like certain songs have like a drum on this speaker and a guitar on that speaker. You may not hear the drum if you hook both of them up, but if you hook the drum up to this one and maybe the guitar up to this one, you hear the guitar, you hear the drum. So left speaker's hooked up to channel A, right is hooked up to channel B. As you start to hook up speakers, you'd want to do it that same way, just so it sounds good. And you get each sound out of both speakers. Anyway, I'll talk more about that once I show you the back. So I do like the fact that it has an echo, a mic volume 2 or 1 and 2. You can talk over, so push that down, it stops the music. You can talk over it with a mic, 2 mic ports. You have a headphones jack and a headphones knob, USB, SD card. You have all your different settings. This does have an FM radio. And I like the fact that, like I said, it has the treble and bass, especially with Klipsch speakers. It's top 3, maybe top 5 speakers ever made. A lot of people don't like that the sound's so sharp. That's what I love about Klipsch. Especially people that don't have like an amplifier, they just have a receiver and it has one tone, might be highly pitched. So you could fix that if you just get an equalizer or have something where you can adjust the treble. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute once I start to play it. So that bass sub right there that's Klipsch is 300 peak watts, 150 continuous running. And I already went over the specs for these. So this amp handles these speakers perfectly fine. These are good speakers and they sound crisp with this amp. I've had no complaints with this amp. The only thing I don't like, or another thing I don't like, I guess, small, minute, but whenever you turn this on, if your amp is on, hooked up to it, whether it's on auto or just on, I don't like the surge that goes to the amp. There's not a delay to where this comes on, then the amp comes on, or the sub. So just know that you get like a popping surge to your speaker. I don't like that. It can mess it up over time. So when you turn it on, it's like boom, boom, boom. I don't like that. Doesn't really do it with these, especially if you turn it down, but with the sub it does. So not a big deal, because what I do is I turn this on and then I'll give it 2 seconds, then I'll flip the switch on the back of the sub because it is self-powered, and bam, it's perfect. It doesn't do that. Same when I turn everything off. I turn off the sub, then I turn this off. Some days I just want to play these speakers and not even use the sub, so it doesn't matter. The sub doesn't always need to be on for me. So when I turn this on, I might just want to use these because that sub is loud for what it is. What else? Yeah, let's get right into the audio and let you listen to it. Now, granted, this is just over my iPhone Pro Max. I'm just going to play the mic's right here, so I'm going to play a little audio. You're not going to really hear the bass, so I'm not going to have all that up, but you're going to hear the sharpness of the voice and the difference that having a bass and treble knob can do. Most of them. So whenever you do this, just open it up halfway, not even that. So everything's set right in the middle right now. So trebles, you know, in the 50% mark, bass, and the total music knob. Now, again, this is the main volume knob, but remember, you can adjust each speaker. If you turn these all the way down, you just have the sub playing. Oh yeah, I'd say about halfway. Keep going, Andy. Keep going. That sub, or that speaker's playing, this one's turned off. Push this piece right here up. Now, inside the canopy, there is a little This one's on, that one's off.
Put this in on there, but what's the point?
Now I'm going to turn the treble all the way back.
Just put it on top and you'll see what I'm talking about once I actually show you the inside of this canopy.
Treble all the way up.
All right, so the good thing is it's just one solid piece. So, and hold on, Andy, not yet. It's done by Velcro. Go ahead and grab that.
75%.
You're gonna need 2 people for this for sure. So, just lift it up. Lift it up.
All right. Now we're going to play with the bass a little bit. Again, you're not going to really hear the bass on it, but it is very powerful. This is a 2-car garage converted into a game room. I'm going to show you the room in another clip. But yeah, big, huge room, and I'm going to show you and kind of talk about what that amp actually does for a room this size and what you really don't need.
Over this, middle, ready to go. There we go. And you just Velcro the sides.
Tweeters are turned down. I turn the bass up. The house is rocking already just from that. This is rocking, so I know it's even louder out there because this room acts like a sub box. So 150 watts for this room is plenty enough, especially when you're really jamming. Don't know why somebody would need 2 in a little small living room that's half this size, but you know, people get what they want, right? Let's turn the speakers up.
To get this to go up, y'all, is to...
Obviously, you can turn the bass all the way down. Maybe you don't want bass. Now, for what these are, the ports are in the back. Even if I didn't have the sub hooked up, these speakers sound pretty good for bookshelf speakers. You don't have rocking bass or anything, but you hear it. You could, I wouldn't say really feel it, but it's just rich, good sounding bass. So no complaints on those. I actually had those a week before I got the sub. I was like, you know what? I just need something for the game room. It's really good. And then I was like, there's a huge deal on Amazon. That deal's still there, actually. I'm going to put a link in the description below for everything as far as the Pyle and the subs. And we'll go from there. And I know the main focus here is on this Pyle. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But this Pyle and clip setup is perfect. You could put any speakers up to this bad boy. I'm sure it's going to treat them well. But these are high-end speakers, and they sound quality with this. Now, you have a remote. Here is your aux, your Bluetooth, all that good stuff. What I don't like is with the aux, you could set the equalizer with any setting you have it to, rock, whatever you want to do. I usually have it on rock. But on aux, you cannot use this for the volume or fast forward. You either got to use your device to turn it up and down, or you got to go to the thing, to the receiver or amplifier itself. Now, if you have it set to Bluetooth or radio, you could control the radio with the remote, and you can control the volume up and down outside of the main volume. So you might want to have this like halfway, and you can control the volume with the remote, turn it off with the remote, all that good stuff. So I do wish I could control the volume with the aux, the 2 different auxes, but not a deal breaker or anything. You have your fast forward, your pause. Same with all this. When you're playing Bluetooth from your phone, this remote works perfect with fast forward, channel, pausing, all that good stuff. Now I'll show you the back. All right, so as you see back here, you have many different setups. You have your input, awesome. You have your sub, output, and then you have another output jack. So when I hooked up, you see you have a speaker. So you put one speaker here. I think that's the left. When I hooked up both sets of speakers to it, I turned the volume up halfway, and it sounded kind of staticky through the tweeter. It's just like I don't know. I mean, these are meant to run each speaker at 85 watts per speaker. So when you hook both of them, and that's per speaker, so when you hook both of them up, this amp just really wasn't cutting it. If you hook a speaker up here, left, and then you leave that channel open because it's 120 watts per channel, you have plenty of watts on this channel to power this one speaker. Here's another speaker. These are wide open, so let's say I wanted to get 2 more sets. I can do that to power a total of 6 speakers, and I can hook it up here, and then I could left here, right, left, right. I could power 6 speakers. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're not going to power 12 speakers. It just doesn't make sense. You could technically buy 12 speakers and hook up each set in a port. You're not going to do that, right? So at the end of the day, if you're looking to power 2 sets, maybe, or I'm sorry, 2 or 4 speakers, even 6, this is how you're going to want to hook it up depending on the wattage on your speaker to get that crisp sound. Once I've done this, it sounds great. What else do I want to get into? Obviously, you got your antennas here, and let's show you the speakers. The main event, really, because you can get any amplifier receiver. Bam! I haven't had any problems with these speakers. They sound great, look great. You got your 10-inch right there. It's 10 inches. I have a game room. Let me show you the game room. This is my game room. It's an actual converted garage. This is a big room. Huge room. It's a little messy here. I got the kids' toys everywhere. But that one 10-inch is plenty enough to vibrate this entire room, and you can clearly hear it from the outside. And when you go in the rest of the house, it's like it's even louder because this whole game room is acting as a base, a box, a sub box. So I can't even, when the wife is here, when the kids are here, I could turn this on halfway and it still annoys them. So you don't need 2 powerful subs, especially for those guys that get like the pro this, pro that, and they have 2 or 3. You don't need it. You're not going to use it. And some of these people have them in like small living rooms. This is a huge 2-car garage that's converted into a game room. So get out of here with all that extra this, 15 amps, 12. You don't need it unless you just want to vibrate the window and you just want to be obnoxious with it. Nothing wrong with that. Go for it. But you're not going to use all that power, especially watching movies and stuff. I'm talking about jamming music, which I do. This thing is plenty enough, 300 watts. Even if you want to pick up a 500 watt, go for it. But for all this, 2,000 watts, unless you have a mansion, there's no need for it. So, conclusion, this is a winner chicken dinner. For the price point, you're going to see the price once you click on the link and check it out. Some amplifiers, or even more so receivers, people get because that's technical and that's what you're going to usually use. Amplifier works just fine. Again, pretty much the same thing. You got more features on this than a lot of the high-end receivers have. I've seen receivers that are between $700 and $1,000 don't even come close to having all the features that this amplifier does. Now, is it a sleek Tesla design? No, who cares? It actually looks more like a rocker style, and I'm a huge rocker. So I like the fact that it has that classic setup, the classic look to it. I don't need the touch screen. I like the knob. Some people just want it all digital. I don't like that. I want to be able to click that knob over without having to touch a screen, then click on it, and then go up, and then you hold it for down. No, get out of here with that. Give me a knob, and I like the fact that it has all these knobs. So again, you can control each channel. Yeah, sometimes you might have 6 speakers hooked up to this and you only want to hear 2. Well, turn those other ones down, and especially if you're using it for surround sound, then you're good to go. But yeah, 6 channel, very cheap for what it is. Check it out. Tell me what you think. I love it. I have 0 main complaints with this. This is going to be my main receiver. If I get a setup for the living room, best believe I'll get the same amp. It's clips. Love them. This handles them well. Like I said, it's 750 watts, 125 for each channel. Not including the sub. So once you hook that sub up, it's got its own port. It's also got another output that you could hook something up to, and some imports in the back, as you've seen on that clip prior. So yeah, it's a winner all the way around. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.